Well, hello, and welcome to Stop, Let's Team Up, My Legion Adventure, Episode 2. And I'm Ross Aiken, and we're going to be talking about Adventure Comics 267, the second appearance of the Legion of Superheroes. And let's get a little started with a little background. So here we go. Adventure Comics, Volume 1, Issue 267, December 1959 cover date, executive editor Mort Weisinger, cover artist Kurt Swan, Stan K. Love Kurt Swan, Superboy Legion. God, wait. I will gush and gush and gush when we get to the Swan Klein era, because it is one of my favorite eras of Swan and Legion. All right. The name of this story is Prisoner of the Superheroes. It is written by Jerry Siegel, creator of Superman, and drawn by George Papp, inked by George Papp, lettered by John Letteros, and edited by Mort Weisinger. So this is the second appearance. The plot is very simple. Superboy's in Smallville, and all of a sudden, a plane is about to crash, but the plane is saved by Cosmic. And Cosmic Boy kind of dismisses Superboy. Later, a giant robot, for some reason there's a giant robot in Smallville, breaks through a wall, and as Superboy goes to try to stop it, Lightning Lad gets involved, and he stops it. Again, dismissive and rude to Superboy. Lightning Lad actually doesn't even talk to Superboy when he flies off. Then, a robbery at near train tracks, and Superboy is interrupted by Saturn Girl, who saves the day. And she is quite abrupt and rude. And the townspeople start turning on Superboy like he's not needed. So he digs a cave to try to create a tourist attraction. And outside of the cave comes a giant monster from beneath the earth that just happened to get loose because he dug this tunnel. So there are giant monsters below Smallville. I gotta love a 90s comic book. Tons of fun. But the Legionnaires show up. They get the monster back in the cave. And the crowd, townsfolk cheer the Legionnaires, but not Superboy. And even Crypto kind of disses Superboy and goes with the Legionnaires. The mayor wants nothing to Superboy. So Superboy, even his parents turn on him. Pa goes, "Those other three super characters have made you look like a fool. I'm ashamed of you. I wish I could send you back to the orphanage." And at that point, Superboy flies into space, and he finds all these other super beings flying. So he follows him to this planet. And on this planet is Superboy City. And as soon as he arrives, he is arrested by the police and put on trial by the Legionnaires and put in a kryptonite cage. And then the Legionnaires build a kryptonite-coated prison for him. And it finds out they've been looking on the future scope and seeing that Superboy was really an outlaw, because he was doing all these things, like destroying a ship, saving a building, digging up a road. So that's why they were rejected. So, days later, there's an earthquake, and everything's destroyed, because the explosion unleashed the element Signiglian. I'm not even going to try. That I'm assuming is... Okay, that's the way I'm pronouncing. So Superboy yells, and this is what he says. "I'm unable to work the same stunt on kryptonite because nearness to kryptonite makes me weak, so I'm too weak to shout." So he used the vibration of his voice to change the molecular structure of the element Signiglian and save everybody's day. And then Saturn Girl says, "I have mentally picked up a puzzling radio message from Earth. It says the President of the United States releases Superboy from his security oath." "Then I'm free to speak now," says Superboy. And you find out that things they had seen on the screen were all things he had been ordered to do under an oath of secrecy by the President of the United States. So all of a sudden, Ma and Pa Kent and Crypto show up. They are being brought by other heroes. They're in spacesuits. It's kind of cute. And they're there for the Legionnaires and all the other heroes on Superboy world to cheer him. And that is the second adventure of the Legion of Superheroes. So there's some great... This is not my favorite Superboy or my Legion story. It is kind of a by-the-numbers late 50s Silver Age comic. And it has its entertainment value. But, I mean, it's only their second appearance. They kind of go, they don't know what they're going to do with them. It's, I don't think even there, they just think they're going to pop up again. And next time they pop up in action, and it is basically the same story as 247, but it's Supergirl in the book. So, I mean, we haven't seen any other Legionnaires except the roll call here is still Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, Saturn Girl, and Superboy. More heroes to come. So it's an entertaining part. I mean, because there was also Adventure also had other series that had Green Arrow in it and other things. It's a short story. It's very by the numbers, and it's for kids. This is who they were gearing these books on the spinner rack or on the newsstands in the late 50s. I want to talk about George Papp's art. I like George Papp's art a lot, and I don't think he gets talked about. He does some of these early ones, and he did Green Arrow for a long time until he left DC when he and a group of artists asked for health insurance and were all fired. And he left comics completely and went back into advertising. But he drew Green Arrow for a long time. He did the Brave and the Bold Batman and Green Arrow. I think it's the last time he drew Green Arrow. And it's very passable Silver Age, well-crafted comic art. I think it's great. The story is very simple, but still mildly entertaining. So it's not the greatest thing. I like some of the stuff. It has some of the very early cliches, like the very first image. It's very geared toward kids. The dialogue is not unnatural, not natural speaking. It's very comic rhythms. I don't think it. This is one you have to look back and really go, this is the way the art form was at the time. Does it hold up? No, I don't think I could give this to anyone over probably the age of 7, and they would be affected by it differently. I read these and this later, after I was always a fan, and I've always been one of those people who sees, got to judge it when it was made, and it was kind of like, kitschy, okay, it's okay, I understand this is the dimension. We're not going to get to my era, the era of Legion, where I think Legion is really moving on all cylinders, which will come up when we get to Adventure 300. In that, when it becomes the main thing in the book, in Adventure comic. But even that is still 1950s. It'll be the Joe Forte era of art, which I like. But it is, once they switch to the Swan stuff after, their eras of Legion, especially if I'm going to talk about what I call the Silver Age Legion, which is really the Silver Age and beginning of Bronze Age, which is from Adventure 247 till the end of 0 Hour. Okay, and then the reboot. And then the 3-boot, and then the 4-boot. So the original Silver Age and Bronze Age is one era. It has eras within eras. And I may do little side episodes where I talk about, the pre-Adventure 300, where they're just guesting in Superboy stories, really. Then I'll talk about that Joe Forte, that first batch, when it was a regular series or the backup series in Adventure. And then when we get to like the Jim Shooter, Kurt Swan era, where it is really its Silver Age heyday. But we'll do that. But back to this one. It's a fun read. It's in Archives Volume 1. That's where I read it. As of today, which is February 10th or 9th. What day is it? It's one of the two. I'm not looking at but it's dropped the day this. I'm going to record this and then drop it today. So a Volume 2 of Prelude to the Great Darkness, Legion hardcovers coming out. When I have that, I found a deluxe edition very beat up. I had to do some repair work on it of the deluxe Great Darkness Saga with this hardback that I will be getting hopefully today or tomorrow. I will have with the archives all of the Legion stories from 247 in 1958 to after the Great Darkness Saga in 1984 in hardcover. I'm ecstatic. It is something I will probably never get rid of those books because I do thumb through them. Doing this little Legion podcast is really an excuse for me to go back and do a reread. And the next issue is going to be I'm not a big fan of I'm not a big fan of these early ones. I mean, I'm reading them, and I'm reading in order so I can see the growth and change of the characters and the development of this team and these characters in DC Comics, which is what I'm looking forward to reevaluating. It's been decades since I've done a reread. So you guys just have to listen to me. Hopefully you're enjoying me and babble on about it. So check it out. It is not on the app, which is I'm sad to say. I know years ago when Adventure turned to Digest, they ran all the Legion stories in chronological order, and I had that before I had the archives. I love the archives. I got them all, and then I had to hunt down 11, 12, 13 was hard, and then finally someone was selling it at a reasonable price at a buy it now. I don't think they knew what they had, and I grabbed it. And I've gotten the 3 volumes that go after that, and then the 4th one will be, and then Great Darkness, and I don't know what they're going to do. I would love them to reissue Great Darkness with a dust jacket hardcover. I would buy it so it all looks nice and neat because I am that nerd. If you know, on the YouTube page, the Legion shelf shows is what I've got a photograph of. So, so that's it for this week. Please tune in. The next regular episode will be will be All-Star Comics issues 58 and 59 when they came back in the 70s with the Super Squad. This is what y'all picked when I gave you 4 DC teams I wanted to talk about. So I can't wait to reread those. Again, I've reread them once. I'm going to reread them a couple more times because I loved the series as a kid. When my brother gave me these, this is a series that I read over and over and over again. Jerry Conway writes the first issue. I think both the first 2 issues. It's Rick Estrada and Wally Wood, the art on the series. This I'm reading from the All-Star Comics Only Legends Live Forever hardcover. If you can find it, get it. It is All-Star Comics 58 through 74, DC Comics Special 29, which is where we finally see the origin of the Justice Society by Paul Levitz, Joe Stanton, and ink by Bob Layton. A masterpiece. And Adventure Comics 461 to 466, where the rest of the Justice Society stories were published after All-Star was canceled. It is basically their early 70s solo book. It is an underrated, I think, series, and I think DC was short-sighted, and they were going through some ups and downs financially, so it got canceled. It's a great run. It's worth reading. It has all been booted in continuity multiple times, but I don't care. To me, this is one of the greats. I would put this up with Jeff Johns' series. I would, especially the stuff that's in All-Star Comics, and the stuff with Wally Wood art. Wally Wood drawing Golden Age Superman in a spacesuit fighting in Camelot alongside the Shining Knight is genius. And it's gorgeous. So check it out. But until then, take care of yourselves. Be careful. Wash your hands. Wear your masks. And read some comics.